Let's explore beyond yin and yang, how Buddhism sees it. Approximately 100 years before the advent of the Buddha, Lao Tzu either composed or compiled the 81 poems that would come to be known as the Tao Te Ching. For several generations in the West, stupid white people have insisted that the purpose of Taoism is the reconciliation of yin and yang, the balancing, if you will. However, a careful and prolonged study of the Tao Te Ching, I'm talking about reading it every week, cover to cover, for 20 years or so, do so, and within a first few months, you'll notice patterns. You'll notice that every time yang is compared to yin, yin is always compared favorably. We're always taught to avoid yang and choose yin. Yang's attributes are to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Whereas yin's attributes are to be flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Once again, a careful study, a protracted study of the Tao Te Ching reveals that the author is imploring the reader to continually choose yin. The Buddhist equivalent of this, these same attributes, is simply to describe the path of yang as the path of the Buddha's wicked cousin, Devadatta, and to describe yin, the attributes of yin, as those pertaining to the Buddha himself, regardless of whether Devadatta were real entities of flesh, blood, and bone, or merely archetypical. I do look forward to chanting and meditating with you this morning after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This morning we're going to play with the latest Green Tada Sadhana or practice text, simply described as Easy Dzogchen. Dzogchen is just a system of the contemporary practice of Dzogchen is a meditation system whose techniques could fit into the three headings of awareness and letting go, bliss and letting go, as well as love and letting go. Green Tada, known in Sanskrit as Shyama Tada, and Tibet as Drol Zhang, despite my appalling pronunciation. Seen through the eyes of a rigid literalist, would be an entity worthy of worship and supplication. However, seen through the eyes of the flexible and the wise who follow the path of the Buddha, this entity is simply seen as an archetype whose iconography reminds us that we already possess the neurological anatomy required for wishing love, for kindness, for awareness, and for letting go. Let us begin by using the remarkably easy tool of words to guide our intention in the direction of empathy and enthusiasm. Together let us chant. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Let us chant a version of this that is more concise and more figurative. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. Let us exercise the love that wishes for the universal mastery of Buddha's eightfold path. May whole master letting go and love as well as kind communication, conduct, and calmness. May whole master the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity as well as mindfulness and meditation. When seen through the eyes of Devadatta's path of being rigid, fearful, and controlling, this could look like prayer. However, seen through the lens of the Buddha's path of being flexible, laid back, flexible, loving, and laid back, these are merely words we're using to guide our intention. One of my first metaphysical teachers during my first 3-year retreat insisted that words guide intention, intention guides mind, mind guides energy, energy guides matter. This brings us to our first of 4 meditation techniques. By the way, good morning. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their applications, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Let us consider mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, whether we mean to or not, we are accessing our sympathetic nervous system, ensconced not within our brain, but actually within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It evolved not to support either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration, but instead to merely notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. That being the case, what are we to do? If we're not supposed to concentrate upon our breath, what are we to do with our breath? We can treat our breath the way a piano student treats a metronome. The moment we notice our body inhalating, we could silently and mentally recite, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. There's no faith required. That's exactly what's going on all the time. During our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. So once again, we are wired to observe all manner of things as we breathe in. Sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, as well as emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We do not select what we notice. We allow our noticing to be random. Let us now, having completed our opening chanting, we turn our attention to the iconography of the archetype of enlightened activity. Our first recitation pertains to bliss and letting go, which is known by many names, including Anu Yoga, Bindu Mahamudra, and Tikle, channels, winds, and drops. Together. I in all living beings as extensive as space, half head or crown so white lotus and moon seat. No, it's not our job to actively visualize. If we simply recite these words, we're letting our subconscious do the heavy lifting. As we mentioned, during mindfulness, we're wired to notice. We can notice the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, or the grotesque. What are we to do with all that which we notice? During our meditation, actually, the answer is meditation. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing the parasympathetic nervous system located also in the spinal cord, specifically in the lower lumbar region, as well as the tippy top of the cervical region. It is wired to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So an easy way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite sitting tall during our inhalation, thus reminding our body to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. Now, if you can't see the word tall, let me know and I will adjust the font. The easiest way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing and to do so during our exhalation. We return to the contemplation of the iconography of the archetype of enlightened activity. Together. Upon these from Tama rises the archetype green Tata. Her body is comprised of green light. She has 2 hands and 1 face. Her right hand resting on her right knee is in the giving mudra. Her left hand is heart with her ring finger and thumb pressed together, holding the stem of the blue dwala flower which blossoms at her left ear. Let us practice mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting, "Notice this," during our inhalation. Let us also practice meditation by silently and mentally reciting, "Relaxing," during our exhalation. The nudity of this meditation archetype reminds us of the vulnerability of mindfulness. The translucence of this archetype reminds us that as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our inhalation can feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. The beauty of this archetype reminds us that the fringe benefit of regularly and effectively practicing mindfulness and meditation, perhaps once every 12 hours or so, causes our blood to stop pooling at our amygdala, the center of aggression and fear, and instead induces it to gather at our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. She is peaceful, smiling, and fully mentioned. She is adorned with all the precious garments and ornaments. Her left foot is tucked in and her right foot is slightly extended. In preparation for the inevitability of death, on the top of her head appears a Nirmanakaya form of Amitabha. Consider, if you will, the abandon with which this gal, the colored of a cumulus cloud, appears to sport in tantric union. This reminds us that spontaneity trumps contrivance. Behold the passivity with which our partner savors the same tantric union. This reminds us that not all spontaneity is created equal, and that centered spontaneity always trumps scattered spontaneity. It's been said that the highest love is centered and uncontrived, and that when our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, our life could very much feel like a Buddha's real or imagined paradise or Pure Land or Vati, or perhaps a paradise painted by Maxfield Parrish. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Now that we've climbed to contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker. The greatest offering we can make to our teacher is to apply his instructions of the conventional truth of perception and the ultimate truth of release. So we're going to play with 6 different gestures. Let's hold this first gesture at our solar plex. I offer the experience of wisdom, thoughts lucid yet as not graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Dharme Patiso Hum Soha. Let us place our hands in front of our heart, in front of our chest. I offer the experience of wisdom, feelings, sensual, yet as not graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Tara Parshe Patito Hum Soha. Let us place our hands at the level of our navel. I offer the experience of wisdom, taste flavorful, yet as not graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Rase Patiso Hum Soha. Let us place our hands, let us hold our gesture at the level of our throat. I offer the experience of wisdom, sounds resounding, yet as not graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Vini Partiso Hum Soha. Let us hold our hands at the level of our real or imagined womb. I offer the experience of wisdom, sense fragrant, yet as not graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Gandhe Patiso Hum Soha. Let us place our hands or our gesture over our head. I offer the experience of wisdom, sights appearing, yet as not graspable as a void. Om Shamatara Ardarshe Patiso Hum Soha. Let us bring the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized. This is known by many names, including generation or creation stage, Tantra Mahamudra, Mahayoga, or Tokal's leap over jealousy. Those who tread the path of Devadatta squander time and energy with contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony with all breathing and allow our love to do the heavy lifting. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one syllable seed or bijam mantra. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by this 10-syllable mantra. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist thought, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Deva or Yidam and Nok type of enlightenment such as Green Tata. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Auntie. As we recite the demonstrative pronoun this, we might feel love, we might feel aggression, we might feel indifference, we might be thinking about lunch. It's not our job to choose what we notice, for we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. One moment, please bear with me. Now let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is love and letting go that is emphasized, whereby we practice the leap over pride. Those who tread that path of Devadatta caught in the thrall of rigidity confuse metaphors with literal statements. But upon this path of the Buddha we relax into flexibility, savoring the chance that explains the metaphors as similes. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as not graspable or what is a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel it as not graspable or what is a real or imagined archetype or yidam of light. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as not graspable of what is a real or imagined mantra of light. As we inhale, we could notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as not graspable of what is a real or imagined bija seeds of light. Let's see here. One moment, if you please. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Let us bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. Together, let's chant. All circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this body or form. So as we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite this italicized statement. And then we sort of hand it off to our subconscious. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant these 10 syllables 4 times per breath. Om mani mi om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa. All forms or bodies could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communication or speech. Om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa. All interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that it could absorb into this mind. Om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be non-graspable to the hand. Om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa om da de de da de 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 so wa. We now switch gears to mantra meditation, beginning with the dhrani of the mantra's meaning. O Mama Chutara, the swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Chutari. Heroine fulfilling all aims with today with a terrible Soha, may it be so. One moment, if you please. Let us bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go, which is known by many names, including Dzogchen's Great Completion Stage Tantra, Sutra Mahamudra, Anti-Yoga, or Trekcho's Slice Through the Duality of Dread and Desire. Which sounds terribly violent, doesn't it? Oops, I think I forgot to do a meditation. Yes, I did. I apologize for that. Let's do that right now. Let's see here. Copy. paste. Dare du nane du ni soa. 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 Dare du nare du re so wa. 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 Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa, Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa, Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa, Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa. Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa, Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa, Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa, Om Dane Dane Dune Suwa. Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa, Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa, Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa, Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa. Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa, Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa, Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa, Om Dare Du Dare Du Ri Suwa. Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, 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 Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Dure Suwa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. So, welcome to this morning's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Here's the key to really making the most, of really bring mantra recitation into the path of Dzogchen. As you breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite this italicized statement, and then sort of, hand it off to your subconscious. During your exhalation, you could physically relax as best you can while striving to chant these 10 syllables 4 times per breath. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Now, a very intelligent question is, in the words of Faith No More, what is this? What is this? And the answer is simple. This is whatever we notice spontaneously. You see, we are not wired to actively visualize, but to simply notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. As such, we could notice sights and sounds and sensations and flavors and scents and the like. We could also notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We can notice the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. We simply slather it with the label this. During our exhalation, we physically, and I already mentioned that, so let's dig in. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. The simplest way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite this demonstrative pronoun during each inhalation. And the easiest way, the most effective way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a simile of, not a simile, a synonym of relaxing during our exhalation. This is not concentration, this is mindfulness. Our mind is allowed to wander. It is what we have evolved to do. Consider this, if you will. Two primates venturing out of the forest into the grasslands. One finds a beautiful ladybug and focuses upon her single-pointedly, oblivious to the sound of a hungry predator approaching. Soon he becomes lunch. His companion is as nervous and twitchy as Deputy Barney Fife. And the moment he hears what may be a predator, he's out of there. He's sprinting like an Olympic athlete. We are his or her descendants. So our sympathetic nervous system evolved to take in all the senses randomly, vulnerably. And so our mind might show us something glorious, it might show us something grotesque, it might show us a memory, it might show us a fantasy, it might show us a confabulation, which is also a winning answer in Scrabble. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Da de do da de do is a wa. Om Dare Dare Dure Sowa 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 Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa, Om Dhani Dhani Dhuri Suwa. This brings us to this morning's final meditation. Let's make the most of it. May all minds be as wise as Buddhas, may all speech be as loving as mantras. May all forms be as healthy as Tara, and may all lots be as fortunate as Pure Lands. May every meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings and practice master as well as instruct them generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May all meditation teachers spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately, whoops, look what I forgot to do. In approximately 10.25 hours, I could return to lead this evening's meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.